After everything that has hit this man's way as of late, Donald Trump, that is, Landon report just broke. Current CNN projections show that Trump is winning by a landslide. Is that a surprise to you? I don't know if that's a surprise to me.
But this is our current CNN projection of where we are now. And look at this. If Donald Trump won what we have here, dark red states, solid Republican. Light red states, leaning Republican. If he won just those right there, he would already have the path to 270. He would have 272 electoral votes. Look what is different. We have Wisconsin as a toss-up. We have Pennsylvania as a toss-up, two critical states for Joe Biden. Michigan right now, another critical state for Biden, leaning Republican. Georgia, a state Biden flipped, leaning Republican. Arizona, a toss-up state. That was a state Biden flipped. Nevada, a state he won, leaning Republican. This is the dire strait for Joe Biden right now on the first night of the Republican convention. Tomorrow is 16 weeks to Election Day. 16 weeks from tomorrow, we count the votes. It is tough to change a map like this in that amount of time. And here's why Democrats are so worried, why so many Democrats are saying, Mr. President, please reconsider and get out of this race. Because right now, Trump is leading here. And Trump is leading here, narrowly, but he's ahead in those states. Trump is leading here. That's 312 electoral votes. Trump is leading in this Nebraska congressional district. Let me change it that way. Nebraska does it by congressional district. That's 313 electoral votes. And Democrats are warning that Trump may not be well ahead. It may still be margin of error. It might be a tie. But right now, Trump is competitive here. That's blue Virginia. That's blue New Hampshire. So the warnings to the White House are Donald Trump could conceivably, if the current dynamics in the race hold, get 330 or more electoral votes. That's what they believe.
Sheesh. That man leading with all these electoral votes? Dog. It ain't looking good at all for Biden when you got his whole regime turning against him. He don't even have the media on his side to try to convince us that we're not seeing what we're seeing anymore. They just like, look, at this point, we're going to have to risk it, dog. But that just shows you, man, Biden is not who they're claiming he was, and we found him out to be. Anyhow, the biggest MAGA, somebody wrote, the biggest threat is MAGA getting complacent when they see polls like this. We can't let them beat us or gaslight us into not voting, for sure. We got to remember that it's going to take us actually getting to these polls and actually casting that ballot, man, in order for this to actually transform in our direction, because it's a lot of talking up until that point, just being honest. Somebody else said Trump is winning by a landslide as long as we stop the fraud that's coming in. I don't even know what that word, as long as we stop the fraud that's coming in, for sure. You smell that? It smells like panic, for sure. But Colin Rugg just posted, just in, host loses it after former U.S. Army sniper Corey Mills suggests the July 13th attempt on Trump could have been possibly set up. Let's go ahead and check it out. Mind you, this is being reported by CNN.
You know, I look at all of these things, and I look at different videos where an assailant will pull a firearm on a law enforcement officer, and the first thing they do is they immediately pull and draw and mitigate the threat and the risk. You know, I ask why the local law enforcement officer did not do so. The other thing is that when you set up an advance team, I keep hearing this about the perimeter elements.
Yeah.
You know, the perimeter is actually established by your threats that are in the area. So if I don't have any threats outside of 100 yards, okay, fine, I can cordon off a certain area. But if I have a building 160 yards perfectly adjacent to the stage, that's an obvious threat, especially with an elevated position that has overwatch. That's a sniper's paradise. And, you know, we talk about Eagle's Nest. You also have, which no one talks about, but the water tower.
So what I'm hearing from you is it's not a failure on the ground for sure, but 100%. Also a failure in adbance?
I think it's a failure in advance. I think it's a failure to have the counter snipers to be able to establish their range fin and their sketch maps.
I also heard we've also learned that local snipers were stationed inside that building. At the time.
I haven't heard that piece of it yet, but that doesn't necessarily make sense unless they were actually in a window which was backed off, because a lot of times you'll get yourself in there. Sometimes you expose your rifle in a way to try and do a force protection or a show of force that actually stops things. Others are actually more tactical, where they'll sit back a little bit, but a sniper for the law enforcement is only trained to shoot about 75 yards, unlike your counter sniper teams that are on set. But here's my problem. In having done this for so long, they always say the adage of ignorance is bliss, and I think that's true. I've done thousands of advances. I've done thousands of counter sniper operations with our teams in Iraq and Afghanistan, etc. the amount of negligence, the amount of mistakes that was made here, I have a very difficult time not leaning myself towards this was intentional as opposed to fecklessness.
But wait, talk to me about that. I actually heard you say this right the day after, which I wanted to ask you about. What do you mean intentional?
Yeah, see that? She grabbed his hand real quick. She was like, hold up, wait. Talk to me about wait, hold on.
You know,
I mean, an intentional failure on the part of...
No, I wouldn't say an intentional failure on the part of, but I got to just, I sit here and I scratch my head. You don't want to be the conspiracist. You don't want to be the person.
I'm telling you, because that's what it's leaning toward.
No, I know. And that's the issue, is that you walk this fine balance of, you're not trying to be a conspiracist, but you look at it and you go, how could this have gone so...
But it's one thing if someone on the street says it. It's not. I mean, you, Corn Mills, member of Congress, former sniper, you saying it. I mean, it makes my eyebrows go up. When you say you're walking the line on this, intentional what?
You know, it almost seems to me, and I think that an investigation is necessary at this point within Congress, not just the FBI, not just others. You know, I look back at it and I'm thinking, all right, for an individual, if you looked at the escalations and how they are trying to approach him, let's just say that it was like, okay, first we want to censor and silence you, then we want to indict and imprison you. Now we're attempting to kill you and take you off the stage.
Whoa. You, let's look at her. I'm hearing two things from you. I don't want to jump ahead of things, but I'm also hearing you jumping ahead of things.
Well, actually, I'm just looking at all the different possible capabilities. You know, one of the things as a military member, one of the things as a person who's run in the special operations communities before, one of the people who's actually done this is that you look at all potential analysis, right?
Donald Trump and his team have said, do not.
No, I agree.
You can see her right now, but not being able to hold her composure. Understand that she disagreed with his stance, but just keep it cool, hear him out. That's the problem. That's the part that we have a problem with. It's not that you oppose and want to actually challenge what's being said. It's in the manner in which you do it.
Dial it back. Do not blame this on Joe Biden.
Oh, well, actually, I didn't say Joe Biden, to be completely
Who's the
clear.
they then? Let's be very specific.
Well, that's what the investigation has to do. Was it local law enforcement that had made the mistakes? Or was there something to it? Was there other types of things that we need to be analyzing or looking at and providing analysis? My point is that when something's so significant, you're talking about something that hasn't happened in decades, right?
I totally...
But my point is this. From a perspective of someone who's actually conducted these are not difficult advances. This is not like I'm putting together a stage placement and a tight shot. This is about looking at your surroundings. What is my green, yellow, and red route, which is your routes out in case? What is my actual elements that I need to be looking at as far as mitigating threats or risks or increased levels? Where's my range fan for the sniper that says, okay, here's my 100, my 200, my sketch. Here's an area where someone could shoot. Because here's my thing.
So you're
Let's
saying,
just say it's a Royce element.
You are saying this is so basic that how big the screw up was, that's what's leading your brain down this road?
That's exactly right. And
I'm having a hard time believing excuse me. I'm having a hard time believing that she's finding this as a surprise. Like, she's obviously trying to cover for the network, it seems, but with the interruptions, her mannerisms, and how hard she's challenging him and jumping to conclusions while he's maintaining composure, it just makes you, wonder, like why? But hey, just when you thought CNN was giving you a little hope, in terms of coverage, you get reminded.
In a way, but because here's the other thing. Let's just say it's a resource.
Tom Emmer was just on with me, and he said very specifically to me, I wrote it down. He said very clearly, it is too early to be talking about who is at fault and who is responsible.
That's why an investigation is necessary.
But, is it not dangerous? Is it not reckless to even be throwing around the word intentional right now?
So to question things as we do an investigation is recklessness, because at that point, then should we never question anything? My point is this. I'm not trying to be PC. My point is, in the political environment that we are in, what would it have taken, right? Let's just say that resources was limited. Let's go with that as a reasoning. So how many times have you seen where they just put a police car inside of a parking lot with not an officer in it and just leave the lights on as a deterrent? Why couldn't that have been a simple thing that was placed in? Why couldn't we have said to the owner of the actual AGR company, hey, look, we don't want to disrupt your business, but we also want to make sure your parking lot is clear of people trying to park in there for the rally. Why don't we place an officer there? My point is that this was too easy of a solution. And when I think about 160
I'm just so uncomfortable with even having
I'm uncomfortable with having to say it. Trust me, my whole point is that I would like to look at this and say, where was the mistake made? How can we correct it in the future? Why was this actually done? But I think that this does warrant a J13 type of commission where we can actually look at it and say, let's investigate and find out why this happened so it doesn't happen to anyone. This is not about a political thing. This is about, we had an attempt to assassinate a president. We really need to understand what a serious matter this is. And this was a milliseconds or millimeter difference between this being an attempt and this being an assassination. And I can tell you, at 160 yards, Kate, just to give you an idea, your off-the-shelf rifle shoots what they call 1 minute of angle at every 100-yard line. So at 100, it's 1 inch. 200, 2 inches, etc. So now you're talking about 1.6-inch grouping capability of a rifle off a manufacturing line. Your average human being, because we used to do this in understanding sniper training, you're 20 inches shoulder to shoulder, 40 inches head to waist, and you're 6'8" in your average head size. These are kind of the dimensions that you look at as an average. You're talking about a 1.6-inch grouping for multiple shots on a basic rifle. We're blessed, and I do believe in divine intervention, so I am a person of faith. I can't explain, one, I hope that it was a corrugated roof and maybe he slipped off on one of the edges of the corrugated roof or he was rushed. But the whole thing, I think, just needs to have a better explanation so that the American people and everyone can feel comfortable.
And I think that's why people are saying pump the brakes, because we've seen conspiracy theories, honestly, on the right and the left. I just said.
Okay. So what I don't like here is her pretty much suggesting that questioning all angles is always somehow always linked to being a conspiracy theory. Now, obviously, they are just conspiracy theories until they get proven right or wrong. But that, in order to get proven right or wrong, you have to question these things. I don't understand why she's making it seem like it's a foreign concept, and it's not trying to invoke fear, even more fear. I mean, for God's sake, what can be more fearful than somebody actually getting ready to almost losing their life, so at this point it's just about trying to get to the bottom of it, get to the truth. But she seems to be reluctant to you know what they do all the time, reluctant to just let him get his point across.
Donio Sullivan on that it's already going like wildfire. This is the kind of political environment that they're saying it's too hot and people are jumping to too many conclusions. Well, that's why I am so uncomfortable.
As a military member, one of the things that we do is we what if scenario everything in the world, right? That's how I know, but
I don't know. I'm just saying,
when
if
I
it's
look at
the what if that you talk about maybe in an investigation, and the what if that you are presenting on live television. I don't know. It's just.
Well, so listen, I'm a public official.
Yes.
Anything that I do, anything that I say in the public. I don't try and hide it in private. I think that the American people need transparency, accountability, and accessibility to the elected officials, not to try and hide behind what we want to look at. And I also think that if the American people know that we're questioning these things as well, it puts them at rest to at least know, why aren't they at least looking into this? Why? We should look at every single situation which is of this significance. We should look at it from multiple angles to ensure that nothing is left out, nothing could be potentially claimed as being covered up. Yeah. We need to have more transparency to the American people, and I think that's what everyone deserves.
But a full investigation.
Full investigation.
Before anyone points at fault.
That's exactly right. And that's why I say I have not made an accusation of something. I just want to make sure we're covering our bases to ensure that we get a proper investigation at all levels to ensure this doesn't happen again and that our president can be safe.
Congressman, thank you for coming in. Thank you very much.
What is being made very, very clear here in this post and by Senator, what's his name? I'm so sorry. Corey Mills. I wanted to make sure I said, I was going to say Mills. Corey Mills is that he's simply examining all options for what may have happened. Okay, I stress he was simply examining all options for what may have happened, which is legitimate. I don't think that that's anything out of the norm, and that's what makes me raise an eyebrow to this whole from the host response to that. And the way he broke it down too at the end, she had no choice but to agree. I mean, because we do believe that the American people deserve the truth. That's the reason why we don't watch legacy media in the first place. And it was exactly a response. Like, you didn't put that much stress on any other point that he made up until that came about. You know, and that's what makes us as the American people out here raise a high eyebrow, man. Somebody says CNN is just like the rest of legacy media in the way they hate when their evil plots are exposed. I don't know why that started playing. Hate for, heaven forbid someone even suggests someone evil is at play. We know what it is. We have eyes and ears. Someone else wrote, everyone should be questioning what happened to the president Trump on Saturday. There were too many failures in the system that have been responsible for protecting the presidential candidate. And that's exactly what we're talking about. He was way too close. He had, that was no joke, but that was like, if he was playing Call of Duty, that would be perfect. What, right there? He right there? Like the target, bro. And not to mention, let me get to this. They're speculating that one person was shot near the perimeter of RNC today. But I don't know how true that is. I was just looking at the quartering for this. Yeah, because B. Hizzy posted it. Police shot a potential shooter around security perimeter RNC. Same as Dom Lucre. But the quarterer said nowhere near the perimeter. This isn't the hood of Milwaukee, normal Milwaukee. Hold on, let me show y'all. I'm just talking, my bad. So like I say, you got Dom Lucre, Milwaukee police just shot a potential shooter. You got George posting it. I'm sure we got more people. Juanita, one person shot near the perimeter of RNC. But when I was in the comment section of George's, the quarterer posted nowhere near the perimeter. This is in the hood of Milwaukee, normal Milwaukee shit. And George posted, it's as simple as this. This person may have been heading to the RNC with the gun. The perimeter is very big, especially for events like this. So I guess he's pretty much implying he was going with the information that he had. I'm not sure if the quarterin responded. So yeah, there's that. But then I clicked on the quarterin and he posted something not too long ago. Where it is. He said he lived 1.5 miles away from, how you say that, Fee-Serve is a long way, like a 20-minute walk. While the cop was there, ? Well, there are cops from all over the country here. This isn't a, quote, great part of Milwaukee, end quote, and with near 100% certainty has nothing to do with the convention. Let's check out this Fox report.
To bring you some breaking news from the city's north side. This is happening about 1.5 miles from Fiserv Forum, just to the west. So we know from 2 independent sources that an officer from Ohio shot a person. And we have now just learned that that officer is from Columbus, Ohio. So now we have confirmed from 2 independent sources, a Columbus, Ohio police officer shot a person at 14th, somewhere in the area between 14th and 17th and Vliet, on Milwaukee's north side. At this point, it is unclear what exactly transpired leading to these events. We don't know what exactly happened leading to this shooting, why that Ohio officer was there in the first place. Stephanie, just give us some insight, what you're seeing there underneath the trees from Milwaukee police on scene and any other potential agencies that have started to filter in now.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a large group of officers, as you can see over there, appear to be, getting some gear ready or gearing up for something. Again, we've seen Milwaukee police officer squads, several unmarked vehicles enter this area. Of course, you can see there is an ambulance down by the corner of 14th and Vliet. We also saw Marquette University police pull out from the crime scene here near 14th and Vliet and 17th and Vliet, which again is just near King Park, which the officers also blocked off a large portion of this area here near King Park. We've seen officers on bikes, in squad cars enter this area just as this is all unfolding in front of us, investigating this scene here.
So just to be on the safe side, all I can say right now is speculation as to what the motive is. I don't have the information at this moment, but y'all pray for America, pray for Trump and everybody involved, man, because it's really spooky out here now.